Magandang umaga po ma'am. Ako nga po pala si Harrison Ibrahim. And ang kasama ko ay si Asnia Mangigin. Kami po ang Group 9. And ang assigned topic for us is the human rights and natural law. So, first of all, ano ba ang human rights? Para sa akin, ang human rights is isang karapatan ng isang tao. And ano ang natural law? Ang natural law is ang tradition. So, paano ba natin mapag-uusapan ang human rights and natural law? Ang human rights ay nakabase siya sa natural law, which is kailangan i-implies ng karapatan ng tao yung natural law. So, proceed tayo sa topics. Topic number 1. Ang topic number 1 is right and human person. Ang karapatan at ang pagiging tao. Ang rights is yung karapatan bilang isang tao. So, rights are due to a man precisely because he is a person, and therefore, possessing worth and dignity. Man is not merely a piece of matter, a robot, a tool, a bundle of drives, or a meaningless question as some philosophers would reduce him to. By virtue then is a man nature, or by virtue of a natural law, by virtue of his supreme worth and dignity as a person, man is a subject of rights and possesses rights. Ano ba yung nakabase dito? What are human rights? Ano ba ang human rights? Human rights are the basic rights and freedoms that belong to every person in the world from birth until death. Ang human rights daw is yung karapatan ng tao, karapatan at kalayaan ng tao sa mabuhay sa mundo. Yun, karapatan ng tao yun. And besides, ang karapatan ng tao ay simula pagkabuhay hanggang sa pagkamatay. Ganun po yung sinasabi na karapatan ng bawat isa. And for example, ang isang estudyante ay may karapatang matuto sa school, karapatan niya yun. And bago ka mabuhay, karapatan mong mabigyan ng pangalan. Proceed naman tayo sa importance of doctrine of human rights. The moral doctrine of dignity of man and his consequent rights is extremely important to the social order. The very principle of human rights which determines and defines the proper of relations between the individual that should exist among members of society. It is again the doctrine of human rights which precisely makes up the world of difference between democracy, founded on the natural rights, and communism of dictatorship, based on the denial of these rights. The whole of the social and the moral order, or the entire science of ethics, individual, social, industrial, and international, may be summed up in terms of the rights of man and his duties. The importance of these principles of natural human rights can hardly be overemphasized. It is the basis of equality or justice on which lies the foundation of democracy and social ethics. It governs the relations which exist between rulers and ruled, employer and employee, capital and labor. For instance, the humblest of citizens has rights prior to the state. So, importance of the doctrine of human rights. Yung kahalagahan ng batas bilang isang tao. So, human rights also guaranteed people the means necessary to satisfy their basic needs, such as food, housing, and education, so they can take full advantage of all opportunities, finally, by guaranteeing life, liberty, equality, and security. Human rights protect people against abuse by those who are more powerful. And malalaman natin sa topic na ito kung ano ang relationship between ruler and ruled, employer and employee, capital and labor. So proceed tayo sa third topic, ang reality and justification of rights. Bergantine and many others have condemned the documents of Declaration of the Rights of the Man, adopted by the French National Assembly on August 26, 1798, as a preamble to the new Constitution. As harmful and expendant and as a bad politics, according to them, the rights of man were drawn up by metaphysicians for abstract pattern man. Napoleon is also quoted to have said that the essence of human personality is obedience. Man has no rights and he was merely expressing what dictators of totalitarian states believe that and put into practice. For rights are based on essence of human person or human nature, which being universal, found in all men, and transcendental is nothing else but non-essential metaphysical. Obstructions to the positivist or naturalist. All democratic constitutions are based on the doctrine of rights. So proceed naman tayo sa last topic, which is definition of rights. Right is a moral power residing in a person in virtue whereof he refers to himself as well as his own action as also other things, which stand referred to him in preference to other persons. Definition of Joseph Ricavi. Right is also defined as that by virtue of which a man calls anything his home. Right is moral power as distinguished from physical force or ability. This distinction is the same or similar to the distinction between authority, which is moral, and power or force, which is physical. Ang definition of rights, di ba sinabi ko, rights are the legal, social, or ethical principle of freedom or entitlement. That is, rights are the fundamental normative rules about what is allowed of people or owed to people according to some legal system, social convention, and or ethical theory. The definition of rights, these basic rights are based on shared values like dignity, fairness, equality, respect, and independence. Maraming salamat po, ma'am. Yun lang po yung topic na binigay sa akin about human rights and national law. Thank you po.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I was Nia Ahmad Manigel, and our topic today is all about misconception of individual rights, the limitation rights, and the full gamut of human rights, and the last is beyond declaration, implementation, and realization. Itong report ko is ito yung continuation ng report ni Harrison Ibrahim. So the first is, what is misconception of individual rights? So ang sabi nito is, the two extreme views of man have led to two erroneous doctrines on human rights. Ang sabi nito is, may dalawang matinding pananaw sa tao o sa mga lalaki na humantong sa dalawa. So ang dalawa na to is, ito yung erroneous doctrines. Ang ibig sabihin ng erroneous is ito yung pagkakamali o mali. And the doctrines is yan yung aral. So kapag pinagdugtong natin yung dalawa, is sabihin nito is ito yung maling aral. Maling aral na tungkol sa mga karapatang pantao lamang. So, the next is the other extreme theory maintains that the state has complete sovereignty of the individual. So, ang ibig sabihin nito, ang ibang matinding teorya na nagpapanatili ng Estado na kumukompleto nito. Ang ibig sabihin ng sovereignty is yan yung soberanya o ang kapangyarihan ng pang-individual lamang. So the next is, this theory leads to state absolution and was in effect taught by idealists like Plato and Hegel. So, ang ibig sabihin ng absolution means ito yung nagpapawalang sala sa mga tao. At ito din yung nagpapa-epekto sa mga idealists ng bawat isa. So, ang ibig sabihin ng Plato and Hegel means are united as philosopher by the emphasis they place upon. Plato means ito yung Greek philosopher at it is ideas or forms. And Hegel dialect refers to the particular dialectical. So, ang ibig sabihin nito is, itong dalawa is mga sikat or matataas na philosopher dati. Yung Plato is, meron siyang ideas or forms, and Hegel is, yan yung mga dialektika ng ibang tao. So, the limitation of rights. Says Martin in his book, Man in the State, Justice Very Law, or notably the Natural Law. So, sinabi dito ni Martin sa kanyang libro na the Justice Very Law, and notably the Natural Law. So, ang ibig sabihin nito is, yung dati kasi is may mga batas na matataas. So, ngayon is, kapansin-pansin natin na may natural, ibig sabihin yung totoong batas na ginagamit natin ngayon. So, the first nito is, the first rights are defined by the natural law, and therefore, rights are limited by what the natural law. So, ang ibig sabihin nito is, yung ilang karapatang pang-natural na batas ay may karapatan na nalilimitahan at nire-reseta o pinapahayagan ng natural na batas. So, ngayon is gumagamit tayo ng reseta lamang. At ito ay totoo. So, pangalawa is, the rights have necessarily the corrective of duties. To every right, there exists a corresponding duty. Pangalawa is karapatan ng pangwasto ng mga tao o tungkulin ng bawat karapatang mayroong umiiral as isang katumbas ng tungkulin. The third is, the right must be limited for the preservation of social order. Unlimited rights and necessarily means conflict of rights. So, pangatlo is, yan yung karapatang kailangan ng wasto tungkol sa bawat karapatang mayroong umiiral na isang katumbas na tungkulin ng bawat isa. So, the last is, like everything, human rights are limited because of the very limitation of man's natures. Yung panghuli is, yun yung pangtao na limitado lamang dahil ito yung napakalimitasyon ng kalikasan. So, ang ibig sabihin ng man's nature is, yan yung tauhan sa kalikasan, o di kaya yan yung mga naninirahan sa kalikasan. Yan yung mga nagtatrabaho lamang. So, man is always a mixture and never a pure act. Man is physical, free yet morally bound, and man is spirit yet bound to matter egg. So, ang isang lalaki ay ito ay may isang timpla na may dalisay na nakilos. Ito din yung physical na ngunit nakagapos sa moral. Ang tao ay ang espiritu pa rin at may mga bagay-bagay na ginagamit. So, the full gamut of human rights. One limiting his attention to the rights gets enumerate in the Bill of Rights the impression that human rights are every limited in number. So, ang ibig sabihin ng gamot, which is, yan yung ma-emotional na tao, which is, this is the human emotion. So, isa ito sa naglilimita ng pansin sa mga karapatang nakalista sa bayan o nakakakuha ng pantao na malaki yung bilang ng may karapatang pantao. The third is Bayan Declaration Implementation Realization. So, ang ibig sabihin ng Bayan Declaration is yan yung pang-universal na declaration of rights. Ang saka implementation realization is yan naman yung pagpapatupad ng pagsasangkatuparan. So, every Bill of Rights is all every fine and ideal and paper. However, the same means little or nothing if not implement and translate into reality of action and executive. So, ito naman is bawat bayaran at bawat pagmumulta, perpekto tulad ng papel. Ito rin yung pagkapareho ng ibig sabihin ng kaunti o wala, ang karapatang mamamayan. So, ito yung pagbibigay ng mga buwis sa mga mahihirap. Ito yung pagmumulta at saka pagbayad ng mga kuryente, tubig at ilaw, at iba pa. That's all. Thank you.